Today, we're going to dive into how to manage a vacation rental property. How do you manage a vacation rental property? Especially if it's outside the area that you live in. Well, don't fear, because by the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to manage your vacation rental property to maximize the greatest profit potential possible. Now, there are different schools of thoughts when it comes to managing a vacation rental property. Some hire out companies to do it, while others self-manage. I've done both, and I'll give you a full rundown of both the pros and the cons. But first off, I want to explain the different ways to manage vacation rental properties. Next, I'll go over the pros and cons of both. And finally, I want to give you some golden nuggets of self-management to help you maximize your profits on your vacation rental property. If you're ready, let's go. So what are the different ways to manage a vacation rental property? First off, you can hire a professional full-service management company. So what does that mean? That means they do it all. From the bookings, to the cleaning, to the guest turnover, to the promotion, to the advertising of the rental itself. They do everything. Many times they even do the maintenance and repairs. Their whole goal is to handle everything where you don't have to invest any time into the management process. That's why they're there. That's why they charge so much money, is because they value your time. And if you value your time, you allow them to do it, and you just sit back and collect the money. However, they are very spendy. I've seen them be anywhere from 10%, which is good. And I'll even tell you about one that I use that charges 10%, or I've seen them up to 40%, right? If it's kind of in a rural area and they have to travel quite a distance to do different things, and the cleaners have to travel, handyman has to travel, they're charging up to 40%, which is a ton of money to pay for property management. So I'll give you an example of two real world ones that we use. So our vacation rental in Kissimmee near Disney World, we use a company that charges 10%, and it's amazing. It is an absolute no-brainer. 10% to be able to handle everything, the marketing, to get guests in there, the guest problems. We don't have to worry about hardly anything. It's one of our biggest producing assets that we have in my real estate portfolio. And so 10% was a no-brainer there, and they do an amazing, amazing job. Whereas another company we used, when we bought this property, it was already being managed by this group, and they had three different levels. They had 35%, 30%, or 25% management fee. Now, the person we bought it from was paying for the full service 35% management, and that allowed them to even pay the bills and other things. We said, we don't want that. We want the 25% management, and they do an amazing job as well. They've got insurance, like if a guest breaks something, they usually get it fixed. They communicate very well to us. We love this group that we work with, but it is 25%. And this property that we use them for usually does about $140,000 to $150,000 a year. So if you factor out how much we're paying them for that, we're paying anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 just in management fees. Now, is it worth it for us? There's an argument that it can be, and maybe that it can't be. We actually have another rental in that same area that we self-manage, and we're starting to think that maybe self-manage might be the way to go. But there are times where you're like, oh man, it's so nice just to have these people take care of this issue that they're dealing with. We had a leak in the roof from a rough winter, and having them handle that process was so nice, but it is expensive. So you can see there's different variations in professional full management companies on the price that they charge and the benefit for you as a homeowner on a vacation rental property. This next group is what I call a half management type of company. And these are organizations like Evolve or Vacasa. Now, what does half service mean? Well, just like it sounds, they do half the stuff, but then they don't do half the stuff. So the half they do is they get bookings, they get people in there, they handle reviews, they do guest communications, and they also communicate with the owners if challenges arise. They do have cleaners they recommend, but they don't deal with the cleaners. That's something that you have to deal with. They also have owner portals that you can log into and check your revenue and check in with them to see if anything is going good or bad or indifferent. You can check calendars, reviews, and the costs vary. We used to work with Evolve on our Blue Ridge, Georgia property, and we were paying 10%. And I was actually really impressed with Evolve. I thought they did a really good job, but I did get a lot of advertisements and a lot of calls from Vacasa, and they were charging up to 25%. Now, I don't know if I could tell you the difference between a 10% Evolve and a 25% Vacasa, but we're happy with Evolve, but we thought, man, this property is doing close to $80,000 a year. That's $8,000. We know some of the cleaners out there. We're now on some Facebook group pages where we can contact handymans or services if we need it. It's a small enough area where everybody knows everybody. We decided to self-manage to save us that money every year. And final way to manage a property is self-management. And this means you do everything from the bookings, posting online, Airbnb, Vrbo, guest communication, cleaners, handyman, maintenance, everything runs through you. Now, it might sound like a lot, but think about it. When you go on vacation and you're staying somewhere, unless there's there's a problem, do you really ask a ton of questions to the person you're staying with? Now, don't get me wrong, I know there's people out there that they'll bug constantly the homeowner asking them questions, but for the most part, people go on vacation, they don't want to get involved in that stuff unless there's a major problem. So self-management sounds like a lot of work, and it can be, but for the most part, it's probably not as bad as you think. Because once you have your cleaners in place, your maintenance, things can run pretty smoothly unless something unexpected happens. And chances are something unexpected will happen at some point in your time as a vacation rental owner. So what are the pros and cons of each? It really comes down to time and money. And what do you value most? Is making more money more of a priority for you, or valuing your time more of a priority for you? If time is more of a value, then you need to look at maybe a full service or a half service to save you some of that time. And booking properties can be a challenge. And if there's a group that already has something in place that allows them to book through multiple different channels that you don't have access to or maybe don't know about, that could be a way to go. Now, if you value money, if that's something that you figure like, man, an extra 10, 20, 25% on $100,000 is a lot of money that can make my profit go from here to here, then self-manage is the way to go. It's interesting, but you'll literally save 10 to 40% by going self-management. Now, depending on what you value, obviously, self-management is usually the way to go. Nobody cares more about your profit than you do. So having control and access to that is really important. And honestly, what I've seen, even self-managing a property in the exact same area as another rental we have with a professional company, our annual revenues are pretty close, right? And so having that experience versus a full service, like I said, they do a lot of great things, and we've dealt with some challenges before that have taken a lot of time, but things are running pretty smoothly right now. That self-management versus a full management, I don't know if it increases your revenue that much more. To really justify it, we'd have to increase our revenue with a full management by at least 20, 25% to make the numbers work. Now, here's a few tips for self-management. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, self-management can be the way to go if you're able to streamline. And here's a few things that I learned along the way. Number one, you have to be quick to respond. When people are looking at vacation and they're analyzing your home, I guarantee you they're analyzing another property at the exact same time. So if you're able to respond to a question quickly, chances of you getting that guest to book and move forward is vitally important. And I know it can be annoying, especially if you're with family or if they see you on your phone, but if you explain to them, listen, this is part of my business, this is what I run, I need to answer questions quickly, and it usually only takes 10, 15, 20 seconds to answer some of those questions. But being able to respond quickly is vital for the success of your self-management. Second, get on all the local Facebook pages that are for the area where your vacation rental is located. If you're not, you're missing out, because that is where you get a ton of good information. I've even seen people on there say, listen, looking for a place to stay in this area, we're looking for views or this or that. You get on there, you can even private message them, say, listen, we'd love to accommodate you and your family, how can I help, right? Or you can get on there and say, listen, we had an unusually rare opening happen just recently because somebody canceled, would love to rent out our beautiful property to somebody that wants to go take a vacation. Or there might be people on there that have family that want to come visit and they're looking for a place to stay. So being on those Facebook pages gives you insight to so many different things. Also, we had a time where we lost our cleaners in Blue Ridge, Georgia. We put on there that, hey, we're looking for a quality cleaning organization that can service our home in this area. Who do you have? And we literally got 20 messages within the hour of people who are willing to do it. We were able to kind of interview those people and found one that was right for us. Same thing with a handyman. We've all found them through Facebook pages that are associated with the area where we own the vacation rental. And the final thing for self-management that I think will really help is having a canned, detailed response when somebody books your property to save you time. But also, it's really important and clever what you put in that message, right? It can't just be, hey, thanks for booking. We usually say when somebody books our property, we have a whole laundry list of things that we put in there. It's not too overwhelming, but it's a lot of information. Thanks for booking. Here's what you can expect. Here's our password for the Wi-Fi. Here's the code for the door. Here are all the amazing things to do around this area that you're visiting. And then we like to outline very specifically, here are some of the best places to eat. Here are some of the best activities to do. I even put in there, here are hidden gems in the area that most people won't tell you about, but because you're staying at our property, we'll tell you about. I even label it hidden gems in the area. I've had so many people respond to that and say thank you, even after they visited there and said, listen, I went and did this or I went and did that. It was absolutely amazing. For example, our place close to Yellowstone, and it's only open during the summer, but there's just not too far, maybe about 30 minutes from our cabin, there's a place on the Madison River in Montana that is a breakfast place on the river. It is one of the best places ever. Massive, huge cinnamon rolls. We've told guests to go there before, and they've come back and said that was one of the best, most unique experiences they've ever had. So little things like that provide hidden gems are absolutely absolutely amazing and do wonders for you as a self-manager. Now, these are things that I've noticed that we've done, that we've seen success with, but I know there's a lot of smart people out there that manage vacation rentals themselves and have insight and pointers. So please respond, comment, let's engage in a dialogue. I'd love to hear what you do. And as always, I got a free vacation rental calculator for you. You put in the numbers, put in the expenses, the income, and it spits out to you whether it's a good deal. It'll even tell you the cash on cash return on the deal. It does all the analysis for you, and it's free. All you have to do is go to aaronsfreetraining.com on the link below, click on it, and it's all yours, 100% free. No gimmicks, no frills, nothing. Once again, thanks for stopping by. Have an amazing day.